Welcome to the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 show to bring you all things Club America in English. Your hosts for today, Ivan Pineda, Christian Rosendo, and everyone's favorite cowboy, Dylan Jimenez. Let's start the show.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Eagle Eye Podcast. A very, very sad episode for like the first couple of minutes, because then we're going to jump into some live Q&A questions. But we're here to recap everything that happened and everything that was this mess of a year for Club America. We're going to recap 2020, and we're going to give you guys our final grade for this America. We're going to break all the news. We're going to give you guys live reactions on everything that's been going in and around the world of Coapa. Obviously, Miguel Herrera has been let go. Who will be your new coach? Is it going to be Siboldi? Is it going to be Memo Vasquez? We'll let you guys know who the front runner is here, and plenty more news coming your guys' way throughout today's episode. But before I get ahead of myself any further, let me introduce tonight's co-host. It is none other than Brooklyn's very own AJ and New York's favorite resident, Christian Rosendo. Gentlemen, how is New York? How cold is it over there?
It's brick. It's pretty cold. It's the perfect time for sweater season. Get your Timberlands on. So I'm pretty cozy right now. So
that is the most New York answer I've ever heard in my
with
life.
the Timberlands and stuff. What the hell?
All right, Christian, how's life?
Yeah, everything's doing good, Ivan. Like you said, very sad episode, but like AJ said, I'm cold as well. That's why we're rocking this beautiful America hoodie. Get yourself one. This is not an ad, but it's just very comfy. AJ, I think you can attest to this. But yeah, a lot of news coming our way today, Ivan. A lot of stuff that's happening in just recent minutes, actually. So just can't wait to get into it.
Definitely, we're gonna have a lot of breaking news, and who knows? Maybe we'll get an episode like last time. You guys remember when Guillermo Ochoa news broke and we were literally live?
Yeah,
down. That was crazy. But who knows? Maybe we'll get something similar like that in this episode. We'll see. But glad for all of you guys that are here. We are gonna get to all of your guys' questions. If you guys haven't done so already, you guys follow us over on the Eagle Eye Podcast Twitter account and submit any last minute questions. We have you guys covered on everything over there. And it should be an interesting live Q&A later on throughout the episode. But we're going to open today's episode with all things Lady Águilas, as we do have some breaking news to cover. AJ, talk to me about a couple of exits that have happened.
So if you didn't listen to last episode, the last we covered it, Diana Casas, Jenny Gonzalez, and Scarlett Lopez have left America Femenil. But today as well, they have announced 2 more departures from the club, and those players are defender Wendy Morales and striker Marlene Campa. They have left the team.
Okay. Interesting stuff going on in and around the world of Lady Águilas. They are on vacation though, so no one is in Coapa training or anything like that. They have been let go for the holidays. AJ, do we have a return date for them?
There's not a return date just yet, but just essentially just keep following everything from America Femenil. They'll give you up to date, and for us too at UI Podcast, we'll let you know when the team gets back into training. But for currently, no news about it really when they get back to training.
Okay, interesting stuff. We'll see what happens, and then of course, like AJ just mentioned, make sure you guys follow us over on Twitter, and we'll keep you guys up to date with all things Lady Águilas. Of course, we just want to wish the best of luck to all the ladies that have departed to the club as of recently, and we're just waiting to see if whether or not we're going to get some reinforcements, AJ, because from the looks of it, the leagues, the other teams around the league are starting to make moves, and I'm starting to get worried.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Doesn't really help when maybe like we only get linked to one player. While the linked player is supposedly Renee Cuellar. She's amazing, but just one time I feel like that's not going to be enough for America Femenil for next season.
Alrighty, well, we'll keep you guys up to date with everything, and then of course, the Lady Águilas podcast will come back in the upcoming year. So you guys make sure you guys stick around, and you guys will be able to keep up to date with everything in and around the world of Coapa for the ladies. All right, gentlemen, we got to talk about it. Unfortunately, we have to go and direct ourselves in that direction. We have to talk America's horrific exit of the CONCACAF Champions League semifinal against LAFC. We had Ivan on last week, and he gave us some great insight on as to how we could expect LAFC to come at us. I think kind of just touched upon it to a T. I think LAFC exactly came out, did their job, did what they had to do, played their game. Unfortunately, America just was non-present even after scoring a goal. It was really just ridiculous. I mean, little to no words do I have to explain what happened, Christian. I mean, do you?
I mean, no, it was just a downright embarrassment. I really thought the team was gonna finally show up and kind of just prove everyone wrong. Prove that the team is in a good state. That every team goes through bumpy roads, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Things like you said looked good for us at the start. With that early goal from Sebas Cáceres. And I really think it helped the team kind of just lift the spirits for a good 45 minutes, and then all chaos broke out. Throughout the first half, there was a lot of hitting, a lot of fouls. Players' tempers were getting up. It looked like it was getting to a lot of players. A couple scuffles here and there, and ultimately leading to a big fight at halftime. And unfortunately, our coach at that time, Piojo Herrera, was involved. And then from there, it led him to be getting ejected from the match. And then from there, we're kind of left without a coach for during the second half, and then boom, the second half starts, and then two quick goals in the span of like 10 seconds happened, and things from there went downhill. But before we get into the second half, we got to talk about the first half. I think after the Sebas goal, it looked like America, let off the gas pedal, something that me and Ivan and AJ have talked about all season long, that America should not let go when they have that momentum. I think we really had them by the ropes. I really think we could have probably added another goal in there to make things a little bit harder for them. But unfortunately, we just kind of let off the gas, let them come back into the match, and they were coming back at us pretty strong. Shots were coming in from them. We kind of isolated Vela and Atuesta for the majority of that half, and then out of nowhere they just started to come alive again. That's something we couldn't permit happen. And it did. So I think it was our fault for letting LAFC grow into the match, and then obviously with the tempers up and everything, that obviously didn't help.
Yeah, no, I mean it was terrible. Even when we had the advantage, we never really looked like we were cementing ourselves in the game. You mentioned it right, Christian. It just looked like our players weren't really as involved as we wanted them to. And everything really just let up. I think LAFC got under our skin, and America just didn't know how to manage it. And that's the sad thing about it, because this is a new upcoming team, and for them to be able to do what they did to you is outright embarrassing. It's outright embarrassing. It's a bit disgraceful. And it's no wonder why the fans were enraged, because and I think my dad was talking to me about it when we were watching the game. It's like these players had no real sense of an idea of what they were trying to go out and play. Yes, they had the goal, they had the advantage, but whenever they felt that the game was starting to get heated up, they were trying to play on that instead of rather than play their game. They were just trying to look for any excuse to try to get an advantage, whether it be a red card, whether it be a situation where they get the other team get more yellows and they can try to capitalize that in the second half. But it seems like whenever they had the ball, the first thing that they were looking for was that contact. It was that contact, and they never put their heads up. They never tried to play a good ball into Viñas or into Cordoba. It was always, get a touch in, hold the ball, try to get the foul, make something to happen of it. And I think that was a terrible way of managing it. And I think at that point, Piojo maybe should have done something differently. And it's interesting that we mentioned him now, not ever really going to mention him after today's episode. It's going to be a whole different experience, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I just didn't like what America had in their arsenal of ideas as to how to combat LAFC. AJ, I don't know, how did you see this game? Because overall, it was frustrating all around.
It was a tale of two halves, once again. I just felt like, we got the goal at that point, and then I felt like just we were trying to cement ourselves, we're going through them. Kind of it's never over. We score the one goal, we could try to build a lead up on that, but it just felt like when the fouls and the scuffles just happened left and right, I feel like, I don't think this is going to be a pretty game. And essentially from that second off, I think it just went to show I think America just lost and really did not have much of a response left. They just really hoped there was a window of opportunity for them, but I feel like the opportunity never really came after that. The two goals from Vela within the span of a minute, I'm just okay. I'm just thinking what are we going to do now? And I feel like America really didn't have responses, and especially when we were getting a lot of players yellow carded at that point, and then Piojo just making questionable substitutions. I'm I don't see how this is going to help our team in any way possible. And then the nail in the coffin was in the 95th minute, where Latif Blessy just scores the final goal for LAFC and the final goal of the match. And at that point, it's just no. This is the America team that I know in heart that goes out the pitch and play with 100%. it just this time, it just didn't really feel like it. Even from the goal, I just feel like I'm not comfortable with this lead yet. But
No, I get you. And then we have a comment here from Chris saying, the most frustrating thing about this game was, the most frustrating thing about the game is the goals come from defensive mistakes. LAFC were the better team, but America gives away those goals, in my opinion. And Chris is right. I think Chris is 100% on the dot here. If America doesn't make these defensive mistakes, I think we see a whole different game. Do we still maybe concede a goal? Probably, because it didn't look like America had an answer for the pressure. It was just soak up the pressure, hope Ochoa can keep everything out, and we're just going to hoof the ball up. I kid you not. I don't know how many times I lost track. I promise you I lost track. I don't care. I just saw the defense just hoof the ball up. I haven't seen clearances like that since Sunday League. It was just so premature of what the defense was doing. There's no idea to try to play out the back, no idea of trying to just relieve the pressure by maybe giving it to a winger and him having to hold up the ball and make a play happen. It was just kick the ball as far as you can and then let them come back to us. We'll try to defend it. That is not the mentality of a championship winning side. Let's be honest here, right? And we knew that regardless of what was going to happen, we knew that we were going to concede eventually, because we know that this America side doesn't have the best defense. And if you're playing kickball to save your life, you know that something bad's about to occur. And then, like AJ mentioned, those two mistakes in just a blink of an eye, it's ridiculous.
Those mistakes are just ridiculous. My bad. But no, just like the first goal, if I'm not mistaken, Sebas Casas had the ball and just passed, I think it was, to Vela. I'm like, why did you do that? Vela scores, and I'm like, okay, they tied the game up. And then one of the LAFC players managed to get a wonderful cross right to Vela. Ramon Juarez was pretty much just left behind, just had no clue what happened until he turned back to see Vela was behind. Scored the goal pretty much in the exact same way like the first goal. I'm just like, okay, that's ridiculous, just to see how we managed to lose a lead within the span of just 2 minutes.
Did you have any hope of us getting back into this game, Christian?
At that moment, no. But then, I think America did I wouldn't even say a good job. It was more like a half decent job of trying to get back in. It's just it was the same thing. I think Piojo went into panic more right away and just started doing the crossing, and then the subs didn't help at all, which I really don't understand the subs at all. I really hope one of you guys can explain to me what the hell those subs were, because I thought he put us in more of a bigger hole than he was trying to dig us out of it. But let's go back to the goals, though, to the LAFC goals. Coming into this tournament, we knew we were going to be shorthanded, and we knew that our defense hasn't been, the best all season long. Coming into this, we have a first-year defender, Sebas Cáceres, inexperienced center back, Ramon Juarez, and then just a left back who we don't even know at this point who the hell the left back is, right? So pretty much when they had Jorge Sanchez, who was out of form, you kind of expected, LAFC to kind of get a couple goals in there. I just wish that we kind of did something about it to reinforce it. Maybe have also Gonzalez and Santi Cáceres in there to kind of help out in any defensive matter, knowing that you're leaving Ramon Juarez and Sebas Cáceres against Vela. That's most likely not going to end well, and they clearly showed why it wasn't going to end well. I understand trying to put in your trust into young players like that, but this probably wasn't the moment to do so. And if you definitely had options to kind of relieve that pressure. So once again, I'll talk it off to Piojo on to getting this game wrong again.
But I don't think there was any other option.
I just said the option. You could have just put also Gonzalez and Santi Cáceres together.
We saw what also Gonzalez did against Chivas, and
you had also Gonzalez on the bench to kind of relieve defensive duties from them.
We didn't have also Gonzalez. Also Gonzalez didn't travel to the CONCACAF Champions League.
That's very true. You're right. Santi Naveda.
So we had no options.
Santi Naveda.
He's a CDM. That's the best thing you have. But the problem is you put him in way too.
I know. I was thinking also Gonzalez. I was thinking Santi Naveda.
But yeah, no, I feel like when you make that,
but it goes back to kind of your same argument, is that he's an unexperienced youngster.
Correct.
At that point, you're just chucking it up to fate as well. At that point,
I understand that, but
completely right, but completely wrong.
It's still having a defensive-minded player in that area as well to kind of just keep people aligned and stuff, because we all know Jorge Sanchez wasn't going to be that kind of leader in the back. We had no leader in the back.
except Ochoa. But
And what did Ochoa do there?
I mean, he did as much as he could try to organize them. But I mean, as a goalkeeper, you can yell only so much, and it's up to them to follow your instructions, you know. But
I also fault Santi Cáceres for this as well.
Oh, he went hero to zero within the span of like 1 minute, pretty much. I'm scoring a goal to making that big error.
So. No, not Sebas. I meant
no.
Santi.
He said
Santi Cáceres. Oh,
he was on his way out. We knew that,
but
and the way he was playing, it just showcased that he was on his way out. And that's the sad thing. I think I'm with you there, Christian. I think that's the most frustrating part about it is that you got a player who's already thinking that they're on vacation mode, and this is really not a competition that they even take for lightly, whatever reason, because they're gonna leave. And I that's the wrong. But again, it's like, who do you put in? Naveda.
Mm-hmm.
But what if he gets eaten alive by that LAFC defense, right? It's just, and then we're here criticizing Piojo why he put in a youngster and not put in, a more experienced player like Santi. I think really there was no way that Piojo could have won this argument unless he won the game.
Correct.
That was the most simplest thing to avoid all of this and probably keep his job. But let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well. In the topic of his job, we'll get that to a little bit later. But I think I'm with you, Ivan. You said it. I don't know if it was last podcast or the podcast before, but you said if America does not win the Champions League, he would get 6 months, and I agree with you. And I don't think losing to LAFC was the reason why Piojo is out of the job right now.
That's not why he's
okay. So we're on the same page. Okay, moving forward now. Let's talk about those subs, AJ. I don't know if you have the game sheet out there, but can you just read me off the subs that were made on our part?
I got you with that right now. So in the 50th minute, we took Ramon Juarez out, a defender, when we were down 2-1 for Roger Martinez.
Okay.
In the 68th minute, we took Richard Sanchez out, a midfielder, for Andres Ibargüen. And then in the 83rd minute, we decided to take Cordova out and we put on Alonso Escobosa. Then the 83rd minute again, we made more substitution, 2 more. We took Leo Suarez out and we put Sergio Diaz in. And at the same time, we then took Santi Cáceres out and we put Santiago Naveda in.
Okay. I mean, let's face it. The people who came off the pitch, I will say this though, I would have liked Ramon Juarez to stay in the match rather than Cáceres. Mm-hmm. I think he had a much better game, and I think we don't give him credit, but the first 45 minutes, I think he had Vela on check. I think he had an idea of what he was playing against. I liked him. He was being very physical with Vela. I mean, he wasn't literally man marking him, but whenever he stepped into the zone where he was marking, Juarez was on him, like just on him. It's just so happens that in the second half, he just
I mean, like I said, for most of the first half, and maybe it wasn't towards maybe the 35th and on. I think America did a very good job in containing any star player from LAFC. And like you said, Ivan, I think that Ramon Juarez and Sebas Cáceres, for that matter of fact, had a very good first half. It's just things really do change on their head very, very quickly. And then, like AJ said, Sebas Cáceres went from hero to zero in literally 30 seconds. So it's definitely not the ideal situation to be if you're a youngster. What I do hope is, I think that from the pressure that Ramon gave before this match, it seems like he's very mature for his age, and I really hope this experience helps him helps him grow instead of putting him down. A lot of times we see youngsters be put in situations like this, mess up, and then just don't regain Jorge Sanchez. So this is definitely, I think, an experience that they both need to take and just grow with it.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting whether or not Sebas comes out of this on the other side better or worse for those mistakes. And look, we can sit here and talk about the what ifs, and if Sebas doesn't make that mistake, what happens? The reality of the matter of fact is the mistakes were made, but nothing was made of it afterwards. There was no intensity. There was no real drive from any player. The players that we wanted to step up, like Viñas, like Cordova, and yet again, I sit here and I stand in front of you to slander him again, and I hope no one actually comes at me this time, because I've said it throughout the whole season. Whenever I did, I got criticized. This is because I could see, and now you guys all see it as well, is that this man just does not show up in the biggest of moments when America needs a player like him to carry the team on its shoulders. And that's what frustrates me the most. This is such a confidence-based player that he needs to have these kind of good string of games just to pull something together. And that's not the type of caliber of player that needs to be going to Europe, you know?
Yeah,
If you're trying to demonstrate that you're capable of going out there and playing for some of the biggest teams in European football, then you should be able to put on a half decent game against an MLS side that doesn't even have 4 years of existence.
Yeah, no.
And if you're not
understandable.
even able to do that, then I think that showcases that you're not ready to make that step. You're not ready to make that jump.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And he should be worried about that because he's not that 22, 23-year-old anymore. He's climbing up there.
Yeah, no,
And that's the
100%.
thing, that's the thing that should worry us the most. But you're right. You know, these players just didn't show up. There was no real tragedy. Look, the fight that happened within the last couple minutes of the first half and whatever blew up in during halftime, that got into the player's head. And look, Christian, you and I can attest to this. We've been in situations where you're heated, you're in the moment, and any little foul, you're looking for any excuse to get riled up, right? But I think at that moment, you need to have as cool of a head as possible, not just as your coach, because we talked about this, and Piojo has a really has a lot of blame to do what he because of how he acted throughout halftime.
All right, so let's talk
as a
about
player
it.
as well.
So
I think
let's talk about the halftime scuffle.
Yeah, I think as a player coming out of that, and I do want to put some blame on the captain, which was Ochoa. The fact that he wasn't able to kind of cool. Well, maybe the heads were cool, but I don't think they were switched on as soon as second half started, right? I felt like everything was very nonchalant. They just thought we have them pressed up against the corner. We should be good. And then, of course, the mistakes happen, and then, you know, we know what happens then. But I didn't see kind of that cool headedness, that level headedness that you need, that it takes in order to make that step into transition from just being a good team to a championship winning team. And I didn't see that level headedness.
No, definitely. And there's a lot of players like that. Ochoa being one of them. Santi Cáceres, I think should have really just backed down from it. You know, there's a time and place to get in your opponent's face for actions that they commit. And like Ivan said, the players are to blame, but I think AJ can agree with me here. I think this is overall the biggest blame is probably Piojo. He should be the one kind of trying to go back into the locker room, get your players back in the locker room, get them level-headed, get them cool-headed, remind them that there's only 45 minutes left in order to advance to another final. But instead, he was out there, you know, doing his shenanigans. AJ, I don't know if you have any additional comments to that.
If I want to have any additional comments of Piojo's, it's just like, you're a manager. Your job is essentially to lead the team to victory at the very end of the day. But when those actions that you showed at halftime and wanting to argue with another person, whether it's the calls and system out, whatever that can be, and then you proceed to think your answer was to then throw a punch back, that worries me. It's then saying like, yeah, that's your team's manager, and that's what they're going with. And then for him to then get red card right on, not even appear on the sideline by the second half, all the pressure have to then go on to the assistant manager. You know the assistant manager is going to be accompanied the manager at all time, but when you're pulling with the task, it's like, yeah, the main manager is gone with the red card. He's up there saying there with the walkie-talkie, having to dictate what the next moves are going to be. I feel like the assistant manager is going to be worried. It's like, how do you put someone like that in a very big game like this in the CONCACAF Champions League to just one game away from a final, and then you do something like that? That's ridiculous, and I feel like that should not be an example of what managers should be doing. As you mentioned before previously, you have to stay calm, cool, and collective, no matter I feel like what the situation can be. Yes, you can be vocal, but I think you shouldn't get to the point where you have to then use a bad expression like to curse someone out or to even get physical at all. Look what if I need to make the count, look what Bob Bradley did of LAFC. He was arguing, but it was with Gilberto Adame, the assistant coach of Jamaica. They decided to just go run down the tunnel instead of just like, okay, I'm going to complain, but like, I'm not going to say anything. Then you see Piojo doing that. So it's inexcusable.
You're right. And I think it shows right here, Chris saying, look, the coach should be the one to keep the team calm, and Piojo lost his head. Even when he was ejected out of the game, he was arguing with CONCACAF security. I mean, the reality of it is that this is the reason why Piojo Herrera lost his job. Let's be honest. This is the reason why. It's not because we lost against LAFC. It's not because we made some mistakes and they overturned the game in less than 2 minutes. It's because Pio Herrera lost his cool. Obviously, the fight broke out, and let's face it. I mean, you're the manager of the biggest team in CONCACAF, and you're really you're really just scraping us by the mud if that is your actions, right? Because let's face it, he's the face of this team in a sense. And so for his actions to represent the club in that manner, it doesn't put us in a promising position at all. So I it's unfortunate, but we know that every action has a consequence, and because of that, we're sitting here, without a manager, and now he's looking for a new job.
Yeah.
So that's a matter of fact, and I don't know, it's just frustrating. And of course, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that that I wasn't riled up because throughout the moment, right? Because this is your team, this is your players, these are people that we cover week in and week out. So you've grown some attachment to it. Like when Ochoa was on the floor, like I was ready to go fly out to Orlando and find out at Atuesta. Like, don't get me wrong, but
yes, we know about your Twitter. Trust me.
And I still stand to this day.
It's he's not playing right now currently, so that's good.
He's not, but at the end of the day, and you just have to take a step back, and I don't think anyone really did that. At the end of the day, that solved nothing. Get into a fight, get into all of that stuff. It led to nothing.
Honestly, if you want to sum up America's 2020, it was this match right here, 100%. From Piojo losing his head, to losing a game by defensive mistakes, to not having any identity, to no superstar showing up. This is literally America 2020 in 90 minutes, right there.
In a nutshell. Practically in a nutshell. So let's add a little bit more comments here. Look, remember the final against Montreal? Pipa stepped up.
My boy
That
Pipa
was what we lacked. Yes, definitely. No one stepped up to the moment. We have another one here. This isn't the first time Piojo has done this, and it definitely won't be the last time. He's a character that definitely doesn't back down to anything, right? And I mean, some people applaud him for that. Other people shame him for that. At the end of the day, that's the way the man is, and it is what it is. He punched a reporter in the airport. Yeah,
he called the referee a word that we cannot say on this podcast.
Yes, there's a lot of negative things that follow
like
this.
You said that's his personality. It's just when time comes and when the higher ups tell you to calm down and be a little more more human, more respectful. He needs to realize the institution he's representing. We'll let it slide once. Don't do it again. Unfortunately, you did it again, and now everyone knows the consequence.
Definitely. And at the end of the day, America ended up losing 3-1, like AJ mentioned. That
which is the most important part. We lost.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, America lost. There was really no sense of. You just looked at the pitch and you said, "Who in this right mind in this team is going to change it for us?" Right. Yeah. And if you look on paper, anyone that doesn't follow America could be like, "Oh, but you had him, you had him, you had him." But at the end of the day, if you're watching that game and you know what this team was this current situation, you looked out there and you said, "There is no one here that I would bet $100 that I could easily know that they were going to change something."
That's what the bad thing is, and I feel we've gone to a point where it's like on paper to look good, but like if you watch the games all the time, it's kind of just like we're hopeless. Like, what is this team gonna do? Like you said, when you hear like someone like Royer, if you thought about what he was when he first arrived to the team, you'd be like, "Yo, he could do something." Now it's like, "Oh, we're playing." Everyone just pretty much said we've gone playing with 10 men. Then at that point, I'm like, that's how bad things are. When the point any substitution we can make, we're like, yeah, they're not gonna do nothing for this team. It's kind of too late. Or even if it's early on, it's kind of like, but why though? Why this substitution? For what reason?
Definitely. Alrighty then. I mean, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. America lost, and we had high hopes for this competition, but we kind of dwindled them a little bit once we saw the amount of injuries that we had. That definitely didn't help. And just at the end of the day, overall poor. And again, if it wasn't a fracaso now, it definitely is after these last run of games, not only against LAFC, but the terrible display that we had against Atlanta United. At the end of the day, America just overall terrible. And look, as crazy as it sounds, I think it's time to clean house. You know, it's time to clean house, and it's time to get rid of a lot of these players and probably name like maybe 5 or 6 players that deserve to stay. Out of a roster of 23 plus, that says a lot. You know, that says a lot. And one of them is injured, so that should tell you where we're at in this situation. But I mean, overall, gentlemen, if we have to recap this year of 2020, we knew the Apertura was just terrible. This Guardianes Apertura was terrible for America in the sense that we made the playoffs but got knocked out by Chivas in a terrible fashion. Just had no identity. Yes, we were very unlucky with injuries and all that stuff, but at the same time, we know what this institution represents. You know that the expectations are always going to be high regardless of what your squad is looking like. And we just didn't step up to the plate. And prior to this, when we were talking about the Clausura of 2020, it wasn't looking good either. I mean, we had just freaking lost against Cruz Azul before the tournament got suspended. Again, we looked very much spineless. We had no identity. Defense crisis all over the place. I mean, you're right, Christian. It's a terrible year for America, and it's definitely a year to forget.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we'll get into it a little more later when we have a lot of questions here, and then in comparison to previous squads. It's just I think Piojo's departure is a sign of change needs to happen. And I'm just glad that the board opened their eyes and said, you know what, something's not right here, and if we need to change it, it'll start from the head coach, and then we'll work our way into the players. But I mean, this season's just been a complete disappointment as an America fan. After last year, you brought us to a final, and this year is just nothing short of just embarrassment from all parts. Stuff needs to change, and I really hope 2021 is a better year for us.
Hopefully, it's a better year for the rest of the world as well. But I mean, that's another topic of discussion that we're maybe not qualified to talk about. But it's definitely been a year to forget, AJ. It's definitely been a year of torment, agony, pain, suffering, all those vocabulary words that we tend to use in our group chat. But let me ask you this: is this the right decision?
Yes. Change needs.
I like it.
Change needs to be made, because I feel like if we stuck with this manager, I really don't know what the future was going to hold for America, because the league was just filled with uncertainty. I feel like this season, like what has happened from when we go back to the Copa GNP por Mexico, going to the regular season with the injuries, just how we exited out in Liguilla, and then came into CONCACAF in those 2 final games that we had in the season. It just, for me as a fan, it brought a lot of uncertainty. It's like, can we even do anything for the next couple of seasons that are up ahead? So it's just like, change was needed to be made. In order for anything to happen, you need to just start with there. As Christian mentioned, start out with the manager, and then from there on, you dwindle down into the team and see what other pieces can you pick out and replace with new pieces in order to improve the team.
Oh, I completely agree with you. You guys are you guys a firm believer of that the universe sometimes sends you signs?
Maybe so. It's just I don't know. It's
This is why I'm asking. I know this is
okay.
I've been asking. But because look, if that's the case, then maybe the universe was sending us signs with all these injuries, all these consistent players being in and out of the club, because these injuries that sometimes were borderline just mysterious in how they were picked up.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the universe saying, look, it's time for things to change. It's time for things to go in a different direction for America. And maybe we need it this year. Maybe at the end of the day, when we look back 2-3 years from now and we say, you know what? That year was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like I said previously, I really hope change does come. Change in all forms of the club. And we just look up from here,
Definitely. All right, gentlemen, we're going to wrap up this review, because it's practically what it is, of not just the CONCACAF Champions League, but the whole year of 2020 as a whole for America. And I want your guys' grade. AJ, you gave the ladies a B-. What are you giving the men?
C minus.
Oh, AJ, that is still very too generous of you. Christian, what are you giving the men?
A D.
A D. I'm going with Christian. I give him a D. I think there was some very good moments in 2020. Don't get me wrong. It's not to say that America had the worst year ever. Like we lost every game because literally, if you this is the first podcast you hear of us, you'd think that America lost everything possible. That we're just completely terrible. There was moments of brilliance. There was some spark. There was moments where players actually showed up. It was the fact that there was a lack of consistency. Again, a word that we consistently use in this podcast. It was a lack of no identity. It was the fact that we just didn't know what America side was going to show up week in and week out. And games where you thought America should definitely be dominating, only managed to walk away with a 1-0 victory, even if America was able to get that. So at the end of the day, I think a grade of a D is a pretty good result. Which again, at the end of the day, is definitely a fracaso. And our good beloved Mr. Dylan Jimenez, our beloved Cowboy, says his grade is a Z. And if you know, that is a very strong grade from our beloved Cowboy. AJ, do you agree?
I mean, when I think of Z, it's a snooze fest. So I kind of think of like it's time to forget. So yeah, I agree with them.
Definitely. Alrighty then, gentlemen. That wraps up Club America's 2020. A year to forget. It's going to be the title. And hopefully we never have to come and relive any of the situation. All right, gentlemen, before we jump on into the Q&A, 2 things to take care of before we do so. First things up is we want to thank our sponsors, Footcall, for making this year a great reality for us. We've partnered up with them, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys check them out over on footcall.com. If you guys like any of the stuff that they have to offer, you guys can use discount code EEP at checkout to get 10% off. Again, that is discount code EEP at checkout to get 10% off. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Mickey and Brian, who are co-founders of this great company. And we just want to say thank you for entrusting us to be one of your guys' partners. Actually, your only exclusive partner. And look, we are beyond blessed, and then we are beyond thankful for the opportunity. And we hope that 2021 brings some great moments between the both of us, and just excited. And again, thank you, Footcall, for making this a possibility, a reality, and for sponsoring today's episode. All right, gentlemen, before we talk about our Q&A, before we get to the great questions that everyone has been sent or that everyone has sent in or is sending in, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure you guys send in your questions. But Christian, I know a lot of news and updates have been happening in and around the world of America right now. So much that I don't know if we have enough time to cover everything, but let's talk about the big stuff. The transfer rumor of a new manager. Who is coming in? Who's the front runner? Will we get a new manager before Christmas, or is this something that's going to have to wait before New Year's?
Okay, so first things first, obviously, Piojo is no longer the coach at Club America. It came to us Monday afternoon, I would say, right? Monday, like kind of midday. It was announced and all Twitter broke hell. I think this was coming. Like me and Ivan said earlier, I don't think it was because of the results. I think that the board was going to give him 6 more months to kind of fix this mess and then go from there. Unfortunately, off the pitch activities is what cost him the job. So Piojo's no longer in. So now that leaves us with no coach. 2 weeks ago to the new season starts, and there's a lot of names being thrown in that pot. You have from Siboldi to Memo Vasquez to Rafa Puente Jr. to Gallardo to I don't know, man, to Yoda. There's just it's just everyone.
Master Yoda. I will take a Master Yoda at the front runner of America.
It's just everyone's names being thrown in the pot. Obviously, everyone wants to have their say on who gets to be the next coach at Club America. What I can say right now is, the search is not limited, but it doesn't expand more than 5 coaches. There's a lot of talks of America wanting to bring in a foreigner to be a coach, preferably a Spanish coach. That was the idea, but unfortunately the board just doesn't have enough time to get that done. That being that the new season starts on January 8th and players do report back on December 29th. So there was just not enough time to get that done. Maybe in the future that could be a possibility, but for right now, that is off the table. Now let's talk about the candidates who are available. There's quite a few that have been thrown around. Obviously, a big one was Antonio Mohamed. I think this one could be safely discarded. I don't think Mohamed will be coming to Club America. I know a lot of people are very 50-50 on this, and it's very interesting. I would like to know why. I thought that Mohamed had a good run at it the first time he was there, but he will not be there. The latest report I read where he was dealing with a lot of personal problems back in his home country. So right now a job isn't really what he's looking for right now. He'll try again back in the summer. Right now it doesn't seem like he wants to be coaching right now, but obviously that stuff can change. Let's talk about the two candidates that have been very, very strongly rumored to come to Club America. One of them is Memo Vasquez. This is a coach that I think comes to a lot of surprise to a lot of people. I don't think in 2020 I would be saying that Memo Vasquez could be a candidate to coach Club America, but he's there. This is I think an option that the board really likes for some reason. Me personally, and I think I speak for Ivan and AJ, I don't think we would like Memo Vasquez at Club America. I think there are other candidates that are better suited for the job. It's just that Memo Vasquez really hasn't had any success as of recent. And for me, on the teams that he has coached, he really hasn't implemented his play style, and now that could be to the lack of I guess quality of players that he has had, but I just don't see any ideas to his football. And just right now it doesn't seem like a good fit. Right now, the strongest candidate, and it seems like I can safely say it's at an 85% chance of happening. It is Robert Siboldi, who actually got fired from Cruz Azul just a couple weeks ago.
He quit.
He quit. Yes, he quit. You're right. He did quit. But he was gonna get fired either way. Let's be honest here. So, Siboldi is the front runner right now, currently to come to Club America. I personally think this is the best choice out of everyone that's been rumored to come to us. He has an idea of football. He was implementing it well with Cruz Azul. Cruz Azul did have a very good squad that did help him in that process, but he had them playing good footy for about a year. And to me, honestly, I think they were the only team that could probably compete with Leon this season. That's just my personal opinion. So I think I would welcome this choice. I think AJ, if you can give me 2 seconds of your time, Siboldi, yes or no?
Yes.
Ivan, yes or no?
Not if Yoda's on the table.
Okay,
dude.
well, let's just say Yoda's not on the table.
Then yes, of course. I
Okay.
think this is the most reasonable.
All right, AJ,
choice.
quick thoughts on Siboldi.
He'd be a good fit. He's been to finals. He's helped Santos win a title. He's almost gotten Cruz Azul to a final. Yes, unfortunately, semi-final, but all in all, I feel like he has the qualities of a manager that could definitely take a team into a Liga MX final.
Ivan, quick thoughts.
I think he's the right manager to come in at the moment. Is he the long-term manager that America is looking for? I mean, only time will tell. I mean,
Right.
He's not the type of manager to jump in and around clubs unless the circumstances
Like this one.
like this one happened. But and he's also a manager that I think is going to be firm and he's going to want players. He's not going to want these so-called hidden gems and try to play it safe, try to play it risky. No, he's going to want players. He's going to want people that are proven, and he's going to want players that can come in and do the job. And I think America is going to have to uphold to those demands.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I'm on the same board with you guys. Like I said, I think this is the strongest candidate that we have right now, currently available, and I would welcome him. It seems like he could bring a lot to this team. And like you said, Ivan, he's gonna demand this player. So hopefully we get them. Dylan over here saying Romano over Siboldi.
And I will take that. I will take that. I look at this point. If we're just gonna crash and burn, let's crash and burn the best way possible. Let's just go back to that terrible time in 2008, 2009, and just relive all that pain. But yeah.
So,
Someone put things. I'd rather have my mom be the coach.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So now, back to Ivan's question. Will this happen before Christmas? It's looking likely. Like I said, players have to report back to to training at the 29th. The last thing I heard was that this coach will be decided no later than Friday, which is Christmas. So yes, I think America will have their coach before Christmas. And who knows, maybe we'll all wake up the 25th and then America will tweet out that we have a new coach. Will it be Siboldi? Is looking like the strongest one right now, but obviously things can change. Any rumors, any chance rumors? Obviously right now today we got to know that Santiago Cáceres is no longer a part of Club America. His loan has ended. He will be going back to Spain. And that is that. I don't think we're gonna miss him that much. It seemed like he was a player that it looked like he was gonna offer a lot and just ended up disappointing the whole fan base. Just quick thoughts. Santi Cáceres, he wasn't needed anymore, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Bless.
he wasn't
He's
needed.
gone.
Okay.
Thank God.
All right, so that's that. And in terms of players coming in, it's just right now Pedro Aquino is the closest to coming in. It's America is advancing in the negotiations. Obviously, with everything with Pio Herrera, everything regarding players has just halted for right now. But the last time Pedro Aquino was visited, it was advancing, and it was advancing in a good way. So hopefully, Pedro Aquino can become a Copa America player and kind of just, I guess, fill in that hole that Santi Cáceres did leave. So it should be a priority, and I hope Siboldi, if it is him or whoever it is, just demands this player, because I think this could be an interesting player for us, especially in that midfield, which we definitely need help in. So that is all the news for right now. Like I said, if there's anything coming up, there's news coming in by the minute. Follow us at Eagle Eye Podcast, and I'll do my best to keep everyone updated.
Definitely. So if you guys don't want to miss any second of it, if you guys want to be well informed, if you guys want to be at that Christmas table talking to your tío as to why America's going to be getting Siboldi instead of Memo Vasquez, make sure you guys follow us on Twitter, and you guys can have all the news leading up to that. But as Christian said, everything's just happening so fast, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, I mean, as far as players go, look, you have to get the new manager in, and then I think the players will start coming in as well.
Of course, yes, and that is the plan, obviously. And they want the manager in ASAP. They can start learning the current squad and what players need to leave and what players need to go out. One question I have for all of you right now in the chat. Ivan Ages is the only question I'll ask. The last question I'll ask before we get into these trillions of questions that we do have. Under the new coach, whether it be Siboldi, Memo Vasquez, Yoda, does Roger Martinez come back to life?
No, he doesn't.
No? Okay. Let's get on with the Q&A.
All righty then. Well, with that said, like Christian did mention, we have some Q&A questions. Christian will be prompting them up on the screen.
Yes.
I will be reading them, and we will be discussing and answering all your guys' questions. Before we do start this Q&A, I do want to say thank you so much to every single one of you that have submitted your questions, and to every single one of you listening right now, to all of you watching at home, to all of you that have followed us throughout this whole year and even prior years to this. We want to say thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. The reason why we get up in the morning is not to go to work, is to make sure that we can get out here and do the best job that we can. You guys mean the world to us. The fact that we have a community, the fact that we have a listening base out there, the fact that people tune in to watch this, interact with us over on Twitter, on Instagram, even here on YouTube, really means the world to us. And we just want to say thank you again from the bottom of our hearts, from everyone here at the Eagle Eye Podcast, even from Dylan himself, who is working behind the scenes. It means the world to us. So thank you so much. We hope that we're making you guys proud, and believe me when I tell you this, that we're working and we're striving very hard to continue to work better and to give you guys a much better 2021 in regards to coverage, graphics, tweets, all that good stuff. And we just hope to keep growing the family and to keep giving you guys the best content out there in regards to Las Águilas del América. All right, gentlemen, let's get into this Q&A. Christian, will you prompt up the first question that was submitted to us? Of course. All right, and then shout out to Chris96, who is also here on the chat, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to Chris Rivera. Is Pedro Aquino the answer to the midfield? If we lose out to him, who's our plan B? With losing Cáceres and most likely selling also too, is Naveda the next man up? All right, this is an interesting question, and I'm going to throw it to you. Yeah, a lot of questions. Throwing it to you first, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on well, not thoughts, answers to
All
all
right.
these questions.
Is Pedro Aquino to enter the midfield? I think so. I think he's shown a lot of good qualities with Leon. I think he is a key was a key factor in their championship squad. The only thing I don't like about him, he's a little bit of a hothead. But so was Guido Rodriguez when he first came, red card machine. And it took the right manager to kind of ground him and be like, listen, chill. I don't think I think he knows that if he does come, he'll be coming to America, and that won't be tolerated here. So yes, I do think Pedro Aquino is a solution to our midfield. If we look down on him, who's our plan B? We don't know yet. It's just right now they're very keen on him. If they don't, then they're gonna have very little time to kind of come up with a new plan. But if not, then most likely with Cáceres and also out, Naveda could be the next man up, and I don't think this is an option that anyone would see with bad eyes.
Definitely. AJ, is Pedro the answer? If not, is the other Pedro from the Division B the option?
No, Pedro Aquino. If we do get him, yes, he's definitely the answer. We need a good replacement from Guido, because the replacement you had for Guido, yeah, they did not cut it. They definitely were not America material. Like Christian mentioned, he was a key piece into that championship side for Leon that won the league this season. But if that does not happen with the losses of Cáceres and also Gonzalez, Naveda, he's the only option you really have left. And I feel like, yeah, it's going to be tough for a youngster like him. You could slot right into that starting 11. But with over time, he's going to improve, and he'll become a star in center defense and midfield, and a star in America.
Okay, nice. I like it. Just to piggyback off what you guys are saying, yeah, I think Pedro Aquino coming into America, I think would be a really, really good fit. He knows the league. He knows the understanding of what what he needs to do in order to keep some of these players in check. And I hope America does end up getting him. In regards to who our plan B is, I mean, we could chuck in Baby Yoda in there, and that could probably be an option. Who knows? At this point, only America people know. But I would like to see Naveda get some playing time. I think he's a very good, promising option, and he could be the replacement or the answer for maybe a Pedro Aquino later down the road. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. All right, Christian. Thank you again to Chris, and I'm pretty sure we have more questions from him coming up.
We do right now, actually. So here we
okay,
go.
Well, going back for another question in regards to this, does America financial problems come from bad contracts, i.e., Ibargüen, Roger, Gio, or is there something deeper happening in the club? And I'm glad he's asked this question, because I have kind of alluded to the situation that America is slowly but surely not getting money anymore. I think that we're looking at a very, very dangerous situation where America is going to no longer be able to compete with the Tigres, with the Monterreys of this kind of North American world, where we just don't have the money. Escarga, I don't think, has taken the financial steps in order to secure a very good profit for this club. I mean, this pandemic's not helped anything either. I think we're even more in the red than we ever thought we would be, or at least earlier on than we would have ever imagined to be. So I would really love to be able to take a deep dive into these financials of America within the past couple of years, because I do think this extends all the way to maybe the start of the decade, somewhere around 2010. Something has happened financially that America has just not been able to recuperate, because it's not like we haven't won trophies, it's not like we haven't won stuff, it's not like we haven't made some pretty good contracts. I think it's just something in the underlying issue definitely has happened, and some of these contract situations could be chalked up to that as well. I mean, you're looking at some of these players. I mean, Ibargüen, Roger, and Gio alone, that's a lot. That's a lot of wages that combined in itself could be a pretty good sum of cash to be able to go buy a player. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. And the sad reality of the truth is that we're living in a modern day of age where the sport is becoming more competitive in the sense of the financial aspect. Contracts are just being more lucrative, more expensive. And unfortunately, that's the way the game is going. And America, I think in the next 5-10 years, won't be able to compete. If we follow these kind of same roads that we have been, we're not going to be able to sign a player like Gio anymore. We're not going to be able to give contracts to players like Roger or Ibargüen. And we know what these type of players are. So imagine what other players we're going to have to kind of, ultimately have to end up with. Mm-hmm. So I've said it time and time again, and I'll say this again. It's time for America to be sold. I think Escarga needs to be looking to sell this to, I'll say it again, oil money team is where we have to be headed, because the financials right now are not looking good for America. I'll let you guys piggyback off anything.
Definitely. I do think there is a little trouble going on there. I don't know if it's to the extent that Ivan puts it. I mean, but it is definitely heading in that direction, though. I don't disagree. It is definitely heading in that direction. It's just I do think that a lot of clubs, and I'm pretty sure he's kind of referring to, I guess, transfers not being finalized, or just America looking, I guess, cheap against other clubs. I think it's also the fact that clubs try to take advantage of America because they know that, okay, if you can pay Roger this amount of money, because and his performances
Don't reflect it.
don't reflect it on the pitch, then okay, then he can play this player this money, and then he will reflect it on the pitch. So it's definitely I think a combination of both to I guess equate to America not finalizing some of these deals. But I do think Ivan is in the right when he says that I think Emilio needs to start opening up his wallet a little bit, and start laying out some cash in this team, because right now he is he's letting us down, and whether it's just because the board wants to go through a new approach. I think I said it before and I'll say it again. Venus is probably the worst thing to ever happen to us, because it shows that America is capable of finding the talent, but it's also giving the board just like this vision that, okay, we can get a Venus, and we can get Venus in all positions. So let's go out there and try to find them. And we're resulting with players like Leo Suarez and et cetera, et cetera. So there definitely needs to be some money being pumped into this club. It needs to be soon before things really do start going bad.
Definitely. AJ, anything to add?
It's just the thing where it's like we're giving excessive amount of money to players in wage where we feel like I don't think they're really worth it. Or like you say, I feel like other teams are taking advantage of America, whether it's because, I guess they're a big club in Mexico, the biggest club in Mexico, and they feel like, okay, we can maybe get to fork up more money than this player is worth. And I feels like maybe the money gets into the head of some of these players who are like, I'm getting paid all this money. It doesn't mean I have to try out. Then when you see that performance reflect on the pitch, and then everyone questions, we spent X amount of money for this guy and they can't even do a decent job. Transfers along the years in America, I feel like there are some points where players are doing great, and then towards the very end they just plummet down. We're just like, what happened to them? Did the money or something happen? But I don't know. It's one of those things that just feel like something's going on with America. I don't know whether if it's like their jersey being so big for the players like to fit in, or there's the positions they gotta fit in, where it feels like to the point where it's like America just chucking up way too much money on players where figure are not worth it. The example, like Ale Medina, Toluca are trying to make us fork up $7 million for somebody that's only played 36 matches for Toluca, and I'm like, why are we need to pay this excessive amount for a player when we can easily find a player who knows, maybe just as good as Medina or even better, right? At Fuerzas Básicas, just right up there. You just got to make the contract up and just talk wages, and that's it. There you go. They're slot right into the first team. So,
yeah, and look, at the end of the day, it's the fact that you're just this big club. At the end of the day, you're always going to be upsold. You're never going to find a bargain unless you're looking for like a Venus type of player. But if you're looking for a player that can come out and do the job, you're going to have to sometimes take the risk with it. And look, that's the name of the game. All around the world, there's always going to be losses with signings. So it just has to be the thing. One last thing to add on before we jump on to the next question. Fred Duran saying Emilio Escarga doesn't need to sell the club necessarily. He could bring in investors for a 51 to 49% ownership. I think that's a promising avenue that maybe America should explore. Freddie, I think you might be onto something. Maybe you and Christian can get together and talk about finances in regards to the club, because I think maybe Emilio Escarga needs that email being sent to him. But okay, Christian, what is the next question? It is from Hector Saroni. Hector, look, my man, I love you. I'm sorry for butchering that. Do you guys like the departure of Piojo Herrera? Will it haunt the club in the future? AJ, throw it to you first.
Ooh, I like to say yes, depending who we really are getting our Magic. Because if the Magic doesn't really live to the expectation, it's gonna look like a complete downgrade to what we have from Piojo.
Listen, I'll say I'll let you finish, AJ, but I'm gonna say this once, and I'll say it right now so everyone can hear me. The first loss that America will get in 2021, people are gonna say Piojo would have done better, or Piojo would have done this, or we would have won with Piojo. It's gonna happen. I just hope that it doesn't happen for a prolonged period of time, because I don't think we're being fair in that sense.
So yeah, no, I feel like yes, I like the departure of Piojo, but what's he gonna haunt us in the future? Only time would tell. But me personally, I feel like it could potentially halt the team in the future?
I don't like the departure of Piojo because I think that with a better roster, he would have done better things. But again, we're living in the world of what ifs, and I think you have to be concrete and realistic about what happened rather than what could have happened. So we'll see what happens. I wish nothing but the best of luck as to whoever comes in and manages us, except Memo Vasquez. I will not stand with this club if Memo Vasquez gets signed. But you know, it definitely will haunt America for a while because I think this is like when you've been with like in a relationship where you've just been together for so long. It's gonna take a while to kind of separate yourself from those memories of like, oh my gosh, we used to have Piojo and this and that. Like it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time if the results aren't reflecting this new manager's promises, right? So if the results aren't really following, then we're definitely gonna be like, oh, did we do the right thing, this and that? But I think that's why the most important thing is that whoever does come in knows that they have a huge job at hand and they know that they have to fill in some pretty big shoes. And so, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, but I don't think that it definitely will haunt us at the end of the day. Someone's got to turn that phone off.
Yeah, for real. Come on, AJ.
Yo!
Take a second and shut that phone off. All right, I'll just go quick here. Do I like it? Yes. I do think that that it's been coming. I don't think that Piojo has very reinvested his playing style. I think he made a false promise when he said he was going to rejuvenate his football mind and tactics into the club. False. I didn't see any identity on Club America whatsoever this 2020. I think this will not haunt us in the future. I think if anything, we're like I said before, any first error or any first loss of America, people are obviously going to say Piojo this, Piojo, we would have won Piojo's better than this. Then let it be. But I think this was needed for Club America.
Okay. Next question. All right. Eddie here asking us over on Twitter, who are your top 5 coaches to replace Miguel Herrera? And do not say Master Yoda because I think that he's a lot busy doing other stuff with the Jedi. Okay. I'll throw it to you first, AJ.
Coaches I can think in mind. Antonio Mohamed, Robert Nate Ceboldi, Marcelo Gallardo from River Plate, Mateus Almeida. I would even take him. I like that dude. And hey, Arsene Wenger, take him out of retirement. Time for him to come back and make this team go undefeated.
He did it once, AJ. He did it once.
Yeah, he'll do it again. He'll make this team called the Invincibles again. Part 2.
You guys, to face it, you guys drew a lot more games than one.
But we went undefeated. That's all that matters.
And he's talking about his precious Arsenal. He's not talking about America. So
yo, chill.
So if he's an Arsenal fan, yes, go at his Twitter and go slander this man because he deserves all the slander in the world for being an Arsenal fan. I think I'm on the same boat with AJ, except I don't think Almeida's the America coach. I think there's people better there. I would say his name, but I don't want to butcher it. It was the ex Boca, ex LA Galaxy coach.
Guillermo Barros-Schelotto.
Yes.
That guy. I think I put that guy in my top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He bottled it pretty bad with Galaxy, but
did get Boca to a final of Libertadores.
Yeah, which they lost, but
yes, they did lose,
but he is a good coach. I'm not gonna lie. Look, I was joking around with this on Twitter, but I wouldn't mind a Rafa Benitez coming into America either. I think maybe he would be promising as well.
You know what? And then that was actually not a concrete rumor, but it was rumored that it was a Spaniard that did not have a club. It was rumored to come in, and his name did pop around once or twice. Obviously, I like everyone here probably didn't think it was gonna happen, right? But it was a name being thrown in the pot. Just like Baby Yoda, just like all these people, it was a name being thrown in the pot.
If we're talking about people coming out of retirement, I mean, who better than to get the actual Sir Alex Ferguson? Now that's a one-time team right there.
I mean, he said a quote once. I was like, "Give me any player, and I can help you win a Champions League." And I mean, hey, he did it with what? He had Brown in defense. He had like all these bench players, and they ended up winning a Champions League medal. So I mean, hey,
man. Respect for the goat, my guy. Respect for the goat.
give it- I
But
give it-
yeah,
Beautiful.
those are the names. And let's just be honest. I think at the end of the day, if we're being realistic, I think we all just want Saboldi.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
Sign Saboldi if you're listening. All right, another question from Chris saying, "What does America see in Ala Medina that they're still willing to talk to Toluca and potentially maybe even pay $7 million for it?" AJ,
I have no clue what they're really seeing him. I can't keep saying this every single time. Just sign more Balma Morrison from Fuerza Básicas. That's it. He will do the same job as this guy. He's younger than him. Just talk of contract and wages, and there you go. Wet Bob. It's done. You don't need to pay $7 million for some dude that's played 36 something games. If I see a 23-year-old coming for your Fuerza Básicas who only played that amount of games, and then hear from Toluca fans themselves like, yeah, go take him, please, I will be really worried, and I will probably tell whoever's in that front office, stop, rethink it, and think, is the $7 million worth it? No, that's the answer I'll give them.
Morrison Palma, this was the guy that re-signed with Club America, correct?
Yep,
Yes.
for 2 years.
Okay, this is the same guy that the new Fuerzas Básicas coach did not want to let go because it was rumored that he was going to leave Club America, that he had offers from other clubs in the league to potentially be that starter that you were saying. He declined, obviously, because America did offer him the contract and he stayed. But this is eye-opening because it's very well, it's not very rare, but you don't see it often that a Fuerzas Básicas coach wants a player to stay. Because it just identifies, he feels that he can just help the player grow, and he sees something in the player. So I think I agree with AJ here. If Toluca's being hard to get, if you're asking for $8 million for Alan Medina, I think we just stick with our Fuerzas Básicas and give the kid a chance.
yeah, I like Morrison, and I think we need to see more of him. I mean, they don't play the same position. I mean, Ala Medina can play in the center mid. I don't think Morrison can do the job right there. But yeah, when you need a player that can be explosive, like Ala Medina is rumored to be, Morrison could be a good option. But who knows? I honestly don't see what they see in Ala Medina. I mean, he only has like a freaking potential of 75 on career mode, so I don't really see what the point of signing him is. But I mean, who knows? We'll see. Maybe he comes in and changes our mind like Sambuesa did. But okay, moving on from that question to the next one from Seven Alfredo 7. Such a cool handle. Should America go with a solid field coach?
Solidified.
Oh, excuse me, solidified. Look, it's been a long day, okay? It's an even longer podcast than I expected it to be.
Yes.
But should we go with a solidified coach or try a new and upcomer? I mean, I think the answer is pretty much simple right here.
Yeah,
You gotta get
solidified.
someone.
Yeah,
You gotta
solidified.
get someone.
You need
You gotta
it
get someone
now.
that already knows.
Can't experiment.
Can't. Not when tensions are so high right now with America. All right, Eddie. Again, here with the question saying list of players who must leave the club now.
Let's all name them. Let's all name them. Come on, let's go here. Ibargüen,
Roger.
Luis Reyes.
Escobosa,
Also.
Emma.
also Emma. Okay, here we go. Leo Suarez.
Oh, I don't know. I think he's a good backup.
Really?
Also,
Okay. I don't know. I think I think
as a backup. I'm not saying as a
that's a
starter.
backup. Okay. Yeah.
as Buster
Um,
means Chucho Lopez. He's gotta go.
Chucho Lopez. Yeah.
Definitely.
Did we say Luis Reyes?
Luis
Yeah, I
Reyes,
said
yeah.
Wessel.
Okay. Luis Reyes. Yeah.
Fuentes, I think needs to go.
Mhm.
Fuentes as well. Yes.
Gotta go.
Okay. Well, we just named the whole squad basically. There's your list.
There's your list. Jesus. Okay. A couple more questions here from Luina Mario. Was Piojo really the problem, or does it come from a higher ranking? Given that the important players left out without, given that important players left without decent signing afterwards. So what do you guys say? Was Piojo really the problem, or was it higher up kind of making this life a little bit more difficult for the players and the manager?
I think it's a combination of both. Like I said previously, I don't think Piojo was up to standards with playing style, with tactics. This is well, for me, a coach that didn't really bring anything, I guess, to America in terms of identity. I think us two can agree with that, and I think the whole Liga MX community can agree with us that when they watched an America game, they did not know what the hell was going on. It was just let's see if they can score off of or whatever spark of brilliance comes from a player, and then that was that. So I think Piojo was definitely a big problem. But it also doesn't help that that Directiva was being I guess more on the cheap side and on the brainless side, and bringing some of these players in. So like I said, a combination of both. I'll give it 80-20 on Piojo's problem side.
Yeah, they were being very codos,
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it was Piojo too. AJ,
Piojo.
simple as that. Alrighty then. Next question.
Quick one
All
right
right.
here.
Hector, do you prefer Siboldi or Memo Vasquez, and why Siboldi? Because I can't stand the thought of Memo Vasquez managing.
Same. I just think Siboldi is the better coach. Period.
Siboldi just, I feel like he's gained into playoffs consistently, gets at least to semis or he gets the finals. He won a recent championship with Santos just like a couple seasons ago. Memo Vasquez, the last things he ever done was essentially win the championship with Pumas. That was back in 2011. And just know how he's managed like subpar teams or teams that are decent to get to a Liguilla, but then just either lose in quarterfinals or semis. So no, I'm going with Siboldi in this one. No way, Memo Vasquez.
Alrighty then, Eddie. Should Santiago Baños also get fired? And who should replace him? Although a lot of rumors have been saying that he is next in line to get cut. I don't know, gentlemen. What do you think?
Number one, those rumors, they are true. They won't happen this semester though. Let's revisit this in 6 months. Should he get fired? My personal opinion, I think it's time. Just like Piojo, I think there comes a cycle with even board members. Yes, they do pass their time. New cycle needs to come in. And I think he's done. Who should come in and replace him? That's just, there's a world of people who come and replace him. But I think we need to take a page out of European teams and kind of, I think, bring in someone who really identifies himself with the club and knows what this club is about and what it entails, and what it needs to bring on a day-to-day basis. So from that, I can leave you with a million options, right? I guess the one that people want to hear is Pavel Pardo. But that's up to you guys though.
Everyone asking for Pavel Pardo, we're probably get like freaking Carlos Infante or something.
Or Rosinei.
Yeah,
Yo.
no. I think he identifies.
Bring all the Brazilians down to this
Montenegro?
team.
God.
Navarrete, yo, forget playing for
Navarrete,
Fernando.
That's who we end up with.
Okay, listen.
Hang the gloves up. I'm leaving. Time to retire.
AJ?
I feel like it's time. I mean, I also did learn something new about Baños. My dad told me he was an assistant manager before he became the sporting director. I was like, wait, what?
It's
That's
manager
crazy.
football.
So yeah, no, I saw. It's like, yo, that's crazy. But no. To the question, I feel like I think his time is up. He needs to search elsewhere, and then for who should replace him, like Christian said, there's a lot of candidates right out there. It's just find the one that I feel like that knows what they can do to get America back into winning titles consistently. Someone like Pavel Pardo, who's played in America for a long time. You can get some guys like him or someone that knows what they need to do in their role to help a team out. That's who you got to go with at the end of the day.
Interesting. Okay. Well, let's move on into the next question here, Christian. All right. Eddie, again, with this really good question. Will Nico Castillo actually play next season? And if so, will he get injured again? Should he be signed up is the real question, or will he is actually the real question, because AJ, he was a Piojo player, and now with Piojo not here, is he looking to be at risk of not being with this club anymore?
It's really tough because, like, he's gone through a lot. We spent a lot of money on this guy as well, who was a complete bust at Benfica in Portugal. Bitsonis is like, I don't know. If he's going to play next season, that's a room that he's going to be registered as a player. But like he's mentioned, he was a player that Piojo brought to the team. And with the new coach that does come in, who knows what his fate's going to be at America. And if he does injure again, I mean, hey, apparently the medical staff are also leaving as well. If that's the case, thank God. Get people that are probably actually licensed, because I feel like these guys are like the Hueseros at Mexico that don't have the actual licenses to treat people. And I'm like, I wouldn't want any player to be going to those kind of guys that really cannot figure out how to treat an injury. But no, will he play next season? Me, I personally don't think so. And if so, he gets injured again. If he does happen to come back, only time will tell. I don't know if this guy's completely 100% fit or not. So
now that Gibber is gone, do you think we have less injuries or more injuries now?
Time will tell. Time will
Time
tell.
will
but,
tell, right? Okay.
Yeah.
This is
hopefully
interesting
it's the
though, right?
former.
Because I think everyone's also excited to see that Gibber is also out of Club America. So we'll see how injuries from here on go on. But Nico Castillo, will he actually play? I think he will. But he needs to be patient though. I don't think there needs to be a rush on his part. There seems like a lot of determination and a lot of rush and to get back on the field. And I understand why. It's just I think he needs to put his health first and make sure that he is at 100% fit to play for Club America. So I do see him playing, just not right away.
Okay, interesting. Alrighty then. Next question. Okay, your Uncleagle.
Your
Your
uncle
Uncle
Eagle.
Eagle.
Oh, your Uncle Eagle. There you go.
Mhm.
See? Oh my god, such creative names. Describe America 2020 to America 2008, and this is by far one of my most favorite questions.
Oh,
AJ, I won't throw it to you because you wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to describe this question very well. But Christian, I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
Okay, listen. America 2008 was a whole different beast. Listen, you cannot compare America 2020 to 2008. All right. Listen, in 2008 we were 17th. We were 17th place, watching Chivas be the number one team in the continent, and that was for me. That was a but let's not forget. We did make strides in international tournaments, though. Let's not forget, Ivan. I think you remember that we did make an important stride in the
How? I don't
international
know.
tournament. How? I have no idea as well, but it happened though, and how it happened, it's just next to remarkable, next to impossible. But we did it though, and that's only something Club America can do. That a 17th place team can make that kind of a run in the international tournament is impressive. But in terms of La Liga playing style, this is probably the worst team, the worst year I ever had being an America fan. Knowing that your team was going up against Puebla and knowing that we were probably going to lose 3-0 was definitely a fear in itself. But America 2008 was completely different from 2020. 2008 I gave it a 3 out of 10. In 2020 it's more like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at America 2008, one word would describe it is pain. Absolute pain. America 2020, discouraging, disappointing, not pain. Pain is America 2008. God, man.
If you guys want to watch pain,
That was a dark year.
go rewatch America 2008 and Liga MX matches, and then you go tell me which one was worse.
Definitely. Angel Reina was our freaking main man. But okay, going on to another question. What formation would make Christian happy? Also, by the way, before we answer this question, happy late birthday, Christian. We didn't get to talk about it, but happy late birthday. I hope you enjoyed your birthday. And
I did not.
I know you didn't. But look, wish you the best of the best of stuff, and happy birthday again, my man. What formation would make you happy?
Well, first of all, thank you to both of you. Very kind messages from both of you on Saturday. Yes, it wasn't the greatest ending to my birthday, but I did have fun. I did enjoy myself. So thank you, everyone who wished me a happy birthday. Formation, I prefer the 4-2-3-1 or a 4-2 or 4-4-2 diamond.
Okay,
That
would make you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think it's a good one. Alrighty then, the day-old question that every Americanista or every even Mexican eventually has to face, and we're going to talk about it in this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie asks, menudo or pozole? Gentlemen,
Pozole.
which one? Pozole? All right, AJ?
I'm about to get heat because I never had those two in my life.
Oh my God,
It's over for me.
AJ, someone come. There, his ad is right there, ladies and gentlemen. Go roast this man. Not because he's an Arsenal fan, but for not having menudo or pozole in his life. Jesus Christ! But yes, I'm with you, Christian. Pozole. All righty then, Jacob. What would you guys improve for next season?
Everything.
I mean, but it's just like the whole squad has to have an improvement, and then we can go off of that and judge what we could slowly improve from there on.
Mm-hmm.
I guess break it down in simple terms. We get a new manager. That's one thing. We improve that entire starting 11 because that cannot be a starting you cannot win anything with, and then go into the bench and then from there on, get your formation going, get the coach tactics, and there you go. I feel that's
Mm.
what's gonna be needed.
Look at the Septile saying just sad, AJ. So sad. Alrighty then. Where did all the Betis and Porto money go?
We were talking about this earlier about the financial stuff.
It's the $1 million
Yeah.
question. Where did it
That
go?
is- I don't know, but Televisa is making some good shows nowadays and some really good actors, so maybe it went there.
Yeah. All right. Let me just read off. I think we have 2 more questions, and they just came in late through our Twitter. Jacob Leo asks, "Were you guys nervous when you interviewed Jen Munoz?"
Yes. These guys were completely nervous, Christian and Dylan, and so was I.
She likes me
Because
the
we
best
didn't-
out of us 3. If you guys want to know, she likes me the best out of us 3.
well, we'll have her back on the podcast, and so she can clarify that. But I think we were nervous to mess up. We just really want to make a really good impression on Jen and the club, because we knew that they were going to be keeping a close eye on the interview as well. That we just wanted to make sure everything worked out perfectly, but we're scared that the worst thing was going to possible happen in regards to technical difficulties. But at the end of the day, it was fun. It was great. Jen is just an amazing person, and hopefully we can have her back for next season, so to talk more Lady Aguilas with us.
Yes, perfect. And last question. Thank you everyone who asked us the question. Here we go. Same guy, Jacob Blair. He asks, current favorite players at America, and Ivan, you cannot say Ochoa.
Oh man, that was a really good question.
AJ, you go first.
Favorite players,
Favorite, I guess. Give your top 3
and just to make sure, from this roster.
from this roster right now.
God, that's hard in itself.
All right, I got Federico Viñas, Jorge Sanchez, y también I got for me, but I like him, Chucho Lopez.
Oh, I know you do. All right, let me save everyone from that list. I'm gonna go with obviously Nicolas Benedetti, Federico Viñas, and I don't know if we can't say Ochoa. Then
I can't say Ochoa. No, I don't think you guys can't.
I mean, I like Ochoa, but everyone likes Ochoa, right? So who doesn't? I mean, so like, let's pick someone else.
Probably not on Twitter.
Well, yeah, probably, but let's see.
That's America Twitter.
Actually, you know what? We're gonna go with Sebas Cáceres. I think he still can improve a lot under us, and I'm excited to see his progress. So Benedetti, Viñas, Sebas Cáceres.
I'm so disappointed that none of you guys were mentioning Ochoa, but since I can't say it, I'm definitely going Richard Sanchez, Federico Viñas, and I definitely do enjoy me a little bit of Henry Martin, and then for Henry Martin.
And then
But
okay.
yeah, those are my top 3.
And those are all the questions.
And those are all the questions. And that is the end of the year for us.
All right, see you later, guys. I'm out.
See you later. All right, bye. No, thank you again so much to everyone. It means the world that all of you guys stuck around here for an hour and 22 minutes. Again, we apologize for the long episode, but so much had to be talked about. And at the end of the day, well, we're just happy we made it through another year. Gentlemen, I'm extremely happy. I'm extremely proud of all of you. Just a best co-host the guy could ever ask for. Menez, the best French player who's ever played in Liga MX, and
That's
there is
right.
no
I agree.
one or any other player out there that can, rival that. But yes, what a player! Just never did anything for America.
The legendary quote he said at the end when we won the championship. Yo no hice nada, pero ganó un campeonato. Legendary right there. Did nothing, won a title.
That is a legend in itself. But again, thank you to everyone. Really, it means the world for us that you guys came out here. We're going to strive to do a better job. Let us know if you guys like anything to change here at the Eagle Eye Podcast. If there's any room for improvement here, we want to hear feedback from you guys. It's the most important thing to us is if you guys can tell us what you guys like, what you guys don't like, and what you guys want to see incorporated. Again, it would mean the world to us. And I promise you, we read every single bit of criticism and positive stuff that you guys have to say towards us. It builds us, it helps us. And at the end of the day, this show is for you guys. And we just want you guys to enjoy it to the fullest, whether you're listening to this on your way to work or whether you're tuning in every Tuesday and Thursdays to watch and talk to us. At the end of the day, we just want everything to be for you guys and to give you guys the best experience possible. So we will read everything that you guys have to say in regards to this. But again, keep them coming. Reach to us. Follow us over on Twitter. DM us, whatever the case may be. We're always open for a discussion, and we always enjoy a good America talk. All right, gentlemen, that wraps up 2020, a year to forget, not just in the sense of America, but as a year as a whole. We want to thank every single one of you guys. We hope that you guys stay safe out there. Please wear your mask. Gentlemen, anything last words before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just we'll go with I'm very excited to once again be a part of the Eli podcast for a whole nother year. It definitely hasn't been the best year for anybody here, but I really do appreciate everyone coming out every single week, listening to us, every tweet that we get. It means the world to me, and just look forward to it in 2021.
Favorite time of the week, right?
Favorite time of the week, you know that.
There you go. All right, AJ, any last words?
Just thank you so much to Ivan, to Christian, to Dylan, just for inviting me here onto the team. I just would have never thought, when I have my Blue Creams account, I'd just be invited for one episode, talk, America fan is like, oh, okay, that's it. Back to just my regular daily scheduled, program, just tweeting stuff for America. But then when you just gave me the invite to join the team, I immediately said from the top of my head, yes, I'm joining this team, because it makes my Tuesdays a whole lot better, because every single Tuesday I wake up and I'm like, podcast day, let's go. I'm excited for it. But it was really great to just get to talk everything America with all of you guys, and just get to interact with our fans here that follow the Eagle Eye podcast. It's really awesome. I can't wait for what 2021 has in store for all of us. And just for everything America, and just hopefully for the world to be better in 2021. So just thank you so much for inviting me onto here. Really appreciate it.
No, definitely, AJ. Glad that you're part of the family. And then I'll say this, and I've kept saying this, whether it's here or on another podcast, your inclusion to the team, it has been detrimental for us covering the ladies, and it wouldn't have been possible to do it the way that we did if it wasn't for you. So again, thank you so much, AJ. And everyone's saying this, they're expecting big things from you in 2021. So you got to live up to the expectation, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
All righty then.
All right. Let's just remember that 85 earlier I said about Siboldi coming to America. It just jumped to a 95. Just leave it at that.
It is a 95, ladies and gentlemen. Siboldi might be on the verge of signing for Las Águilas del América. But hey, if you guys want any more news, you guys know where to follow and find that information. Okay, with that said, everyone, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Make sure you guys stay safe. Happy holidays from all of us here at the Eagle Eye Podcast. Merry Christmas. And to all, a wonderful, blessed, and happy new year. We'll be back next year to talk all things Las Águilas del América, with hopefully new layouts, new graphics, and new everything to get you guys up and ready for the new start of the season. Gentlemen, thank you again for everything. Again, it's been a wonderful time. Wouldn't have asked for another better place to do it. To our beloved Cowboy, thank you so much for everything that you've been doing for us. We expect for you to be back on for next year. Hopefully that ACL can be fixed up and ready to go. And to everyone that has been following us, watching us, again, I repeat this and I'll repeat it again, time and time again. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful night. Take care and be safe. And as always, Arriba América.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was another production of the Eagle Eye Podcast, the #1 source for all things Club America in English. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Eagle Eye Podcast, and get all the latest news and